All right, good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? So good to see so many people on this call. Awesome. Eddie, good to see you. Good afternoon. Frank Kenny, awesome. Maeve, awesome. Erica Hill, thank you so much for being here. Awesome. Rosie, I see you in the call. Phenomenal, phenomenal. Good stuff, guys. So again, like always, like to play a quick little motivational video just to get the sales meeting going. So bear with me here momentarily, and I'll get it started. I'm gonna mute. Nat, if you can help me with mute, please. Thank you. All right. And here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear the sound.
Hey everybody, McConaughey here. Just want to say in these crazy times that we're in with the coronavirus, let's take care of ourselves and each other. Let's not go to the lowest common denominator and get paranoid. Let's do our due diligence, take the precautions we need to take care of ourselves and those of us around us. Right now, more than ever before, we're all more dependent on each other than we ever have been. We have an enemy in coronavirus that is faceless, that is raceless, non-denominational, and bipartisan. And it's an enemy that we all agree we beat. We want to beat, and we're going to beat him. In this time when people are going to move on, the economy is going to be in shambles for who knows how long, there is a green light on the other side of this red light that we're in right now. And I believe that green light is going to be built upon the values that we can enact right now. Values of fairness, kindness, accountability, resilience, respect, courage. We practice those things right now. When we get out of this virus this time might be the one time that brings us all together and unifies us like we have not been in a long time. So yes, let's see if we can make some lemonade out of this lemon that we're in the middle of. Turn a red light into a green light. Just keep living.
Awesome.
You know how you.
All right. Here we go. So thank you again, guys, for being on this call. Good afternoon. Let me just, I need to mute a couple people here. Give me 1 second. I think Nat helped me out. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being on this call. It's 12:03, so let's get rocking and rolling. So first and foremost, guys, I have some exciting news that I'd like to share with you guys. You know, when there's change, it's always great. So I'd like to introduce you to our new OPs to the Keller Williams South Bay office. It's Jennifer and Manny. So hi, Jennifer and Manny. Jennifer is also the team leader for the KW Beach Cities office. Many years of experience. Manny is also the team leader for the Calabasas office, and he's also an OP for the Long Beach Market Center. Both have immense of experience. We are so excited to align ourselves and be in business with both of them. So let's give them a good virtual high five to our new team leaders. So thank you guys. Would you guys like to share anything? Let me open up to Manny and Jennifer. Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, Manny.
Thank you. Good to be here. Jen, you go first.
I was going to say not team leader, OP.
OP.
But we are both very excited to be a part of you guys. I know that we've been getting to know the staff over the last week, and we're, you know, heard great things about your office. I've known your office for a very long time, and so hopefully we can all work together and bring some new ideas and even come together as Beach Cities and South Bay so we can work as a team. We were just talking with some of your group about combining our listing showcase together and revamping that. So we're very excited for everything that we can bring in, like even the next few weeks for you guys.
Beautiful.
Good stuff. I'm very excited about this opportunity. And I know of your office. I know a few agents over there. The staff is incredible. Your leadership is amazing. I know Simon for a long time. You guys are fortunate to have him as the leader of the tribe. I know Erica for a long time. We've been business partners in the Long Beach coastal office, and that was a fun. It still is a fun ride, it's really for us to be a resource for you guys, for this amazing community, and to bring more ideas and to support you in various times, like if it's right now, which is very unusual circumstances, and support the staff and the growth of the company. This morning I had a team meeting earlier today, and I had Dr. Lawrence Yoon. Dr. Yoon is the chief economist for the NAR. You can go on my Facebook afterwards and check the recording is there. You can check out the full conversation with Dr. Yoon. So the top of minds in the country, they're looking at things in a very, very realistic way, based on facts, statistics, and of course experience from the past, but also in a very optimistic way. And he was talking a lot about the recovery and the duration of the economic shutdown and the index and a lot of the good stuff that he shared. So these too shall pass, and nobody knows when things are going to go back to normal. But we very fortunate to and humbled and grateful to be part of the team, and we'll do the best that we know how to do to bring value to you guys and support your businesses.
Beautiful. Awesome. I'm so excited for both. I know last week we've been really rolling up our sleeves and aligning ourselves with some of the tactics that both Jennifer and Manny are using. And we're so very excited and so supportive of you guys coming on board. So thank you guys. Thank you, Erica, for bringing talent to the office. So looking forward to the big picture, the big vision, and let's dominate, guys. Let's dominate.
Hey, Simon, can I jump in for a second?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So people are writing in the chat message asking where did the other OP go and all of that. So I just wanted to address that really quickly. I think everyone here at least knew Jeff Anderson, at least a little bit. I don't know if maybe some people here didn't know him at all, but Jeff is delightful. Jeff had said he wanted to step down from the OP position simply, which is now a little bit ironic, based on two things. His top 100 team, his expansion team, was keeping him super busy. And also what happened to push him over the edge was his two boys got into baseball. And I don't know how many of you have been parents with children in sports, but there are several years you go through where you're just a fixture behind the wheel and you're sitting on a field all the time. And they said they really didn't understand how big a commitment it was going in, and then they got immersed in it and they realized they just couldn't do everything. And then I totally understood. I'm sure any of you who have been parents would understand that, right? But just about the second he decided to resign from the position of OP, COVID hit, and now there's no baseball. But there will be baseball again, and hopefully very soon. So that was all it was, is they really just have their hands full with their family and their other business. And here's what I'm really excited about. First of all, Jeff and I will, and Tori as well, will always remain, and we'll have a great friendship and always have a close relationship. So it was really good. I mean, he was comfortable being honest with me about just being too busy. But here's the exciting part, is that Jennifer and Manny bring systems and things that they've already implemented into the market centers they're already immersed in that are so exciting. And I know we can't talk about everything all at one time, but I also know that they're going to be unfolding things one at a time so that you're not overwhelmed. But you're going to have so many new systems that are just first class. I mean, just beautiful things that you can plug into that we have not had available to us before. And so one at a time, you're going to be seeing that. So stay tuned and watch, because you are going to be getting access to a whole host of tools that we just have not had in the past.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Jennifer,
absolutely.
could you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Yes, some of the things that we are going to be putting out are, not to give it away, but our services that will help you with your clients, as well as a lot of marketing pieces that we have been working on. So what we want to do is launch them a little at a time, so it's not so overwhelming, just to get a whole basket of toys. So every, couple of weeks, what we'll do is introduce a new product to you guys so that you can start utilizing it. And I have talked to a few people as well. We do have a marketing team and a media team that can help support you guys, especially with the change and shift of the way we do business now. Manny just had at his team meeting, I think it was last week, or maybe it was on Monday, the virtual listing presentation. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be having that on my team meeting next Wednesday. So those are some of the items that we're going to be showing you guys how to work in the current business with the new cards that we've been dealt, right? Also talking about how social media is changing. Especially now, we have a Matterport that we own, so we can help you guys in your business with that, doing the 3D tours. So all of that is happening. Again, a class on Monday at 12:30. I'll send out that link so you guys can see, again, tips and tricks, social media, and things that you just need to post, verbiages, language, all that fun jazz. How to hold an open house virtual. So those are the fun things that are coming your way very, very soon.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Manny.
Well, just to add one more thing is that we have in our offices, and it's a unique relationship and a partnership that we had for since last year that came about. The service is not new by any means. It's been around for many, many, many years. It was just reinvented the way that they packaged that and implemented that. And it's what you call the concierge. And the concierge is a service that you typically offer to your home sellers that they want to do some improvements in the property, but not necessarily that they have the available cash right away. Or if they have the investor mindset, they maybe just don't want to upfront the cash to put whatever in the property, because it can do something else, right? So that's where the concierge comes in. They assess the property and they give an idea of what needs to be done, or what the seller want to do, or the agent recommends. And it can be from cleaning the front yard, painting the house, do a full remodeling to the house, change the carpets, change the roof, just name it. Paying for moving expenses to a different state, pay for housing, temporary housing for a few months or whatever. We did it all, and they upfront the money in full. But here's the funny part, that we didn't invent anything as well. We just reinvented it, and we did it because of fierce competition. There's a lot of great companies out there that do whatever they do, and they we learn from the best, and we then becoming the best. And the funny thing is that now when those companies, because what happened, laying off people, and they shut down the services, we didn't. Our KW Concierge is up and running full on, and our people still using it and utilizing it. And right now they're offering unique services to clientele that want to clean the house in a very different way or whatever. So I don't want to bore you, but there's a lot of good stuff that you guys are going to get access to, and it's going to change the dynamic of your business as well now and in the future. So
Manny, one of the things I saw you post yesterday just blew me away. It made me think of Al, actually, because Al, I've seen you list a lot of vacant homes, and it was an ability to do a 3D
Matterport,
home staging. So the home, they showed the before and after. The home is empty, and then you do the 3D staging, and it looked amazing. right? So that's one of the tools that you'll have available to you. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Eric and many are saying, you know, the way that we're handling our business is we got to adapt to it. And, you know, utilizing the Matterport 3D virtual tour is a prime example that's going to help you take your business to that next level, because now it's going to give the consumer the ability to actually see virtually the home 3D. There you go. So it gives you a definitely approach. And when you're having your listing appointments with the client, this is an added value to you that we utilize for the purpose of promoting it and getting more buyers to look at the property during these uncertain times. So good stuff, guys. Good stuff. So I appreciate Manny. I appreciate Jennifer. I know Jennifer is going to be stepping out in a little bit. She has a ALC meeting. Erica, thank you so much for chiming in on this. So we got to continue. So I know that, is Fernando on this call? Yeah, Fernando's on the call. I know that Fernando had wanted to be one of the first ones to talk, to give you guys an update of what's going on in the market. So Fernando, are you there? Yeah, let me mute him. Nat, can you, let's see here. All right, Fernando.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So thank you so much for being on this call. So tell us, what's going on? What are you seeing out there right now in the lending?
Well, real quick, as you guys know, a lot of you guys have been on the calls that Simon have been doing Mondays at 1, and I don't want to go back to that. I just kind of want to go forward and make you guys aware that currently, especially for those of you guys that remember 2008, 2009, the industry is going through some lending or guideline tightening. I don't know if you guys saw that Chase made an announcement a few days ago. Well, they will only deal with 20% down and 700 plus FICO scores. That's their new policy, at least currently as it stands. And as you guys already know, a lot of lenders have raised their minimum FICO requirements, reserve requirements, and all that on government loans, FHA. And I've seen some transactions actually fall apart because of these changes that happen very, very quickly. So my advice or my tip of the day is make sure that you guys are, you know, in contact with the lenders or the lenders that you're using on these transactions. Make sure that everybody's aware of exactly where your clients stand, because I've seen clients that were pre-approved on certain products, you know, 2-3 months ago, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, I found a house, and guess what? Right now they don't qualify based on the changes that have happened. So make sure that we stay on top of that stuff. And obviously, you know, if you have any questions, you guys know how to reach me or give me a call. But I do see, I will say this, activity-wise, and I'm gonna, you know, I know that people say, oh yeah, you guys are busy with refinances and et cetera, which we are to a certain extent. But I will tell you, the purchase market, from what I've seen in my view of it, is still very strong. We have multiple purchase transactions going into escrow every week. So, which gives us a lot of confidence, you know, and a lot I've seen and also felt in talking to realtors that a lot of them have lost some confidence in the market. But I will tell you guys, on a more macro level, things are still fairly strong. There's a lot of essential people that are in essential industries, nurses, teachers, doctors, et cetera, and the list goes on and on and on, even financial or in the finance markets. All those people are capable of buying. They're not on the non-essential list, and they're taking advantage of the market. Like I said before, I'm seeing price reductions, seller credits, all kinds of renegotiations happening. And these people are, you know, fully employed and ready to rock. So if you have any questions, let me know. Simon, I can't see any questions if anything has popped up there. So let me know if there's anything. If not, then that's my update of the day, guys.
There's a string of questions, but you know, we'll still have our Monday meetings, and that way we can really concise the questions and see what updates you have for us. So thank you, Fernando. I appreciate your time for being and keeping us diligent and up to date with the lending aspect of it.
Thank you, guys.
Have a safe and healthy day, okay? Thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Next will be Joanne with Orange Coast Title. Is Joanne on this call? There she is. Joanne, good afternoon. How are you?
Hi, guys. So good to see everybody. Today, I just wanted to give you a quick advice. Gap coverage. Orange Coast Title has gap insurance. So if for some reason the county is unable to close something, if they close, we are here. We have that gap coverage that will keep you guys, keep your deal going. So don't worry about it. Everything's going so smoothly at the company. Everybody's working full time. So we're here for you. If you need a hard copy of a profile, let me know. And I just want to say hi to everybody and thank you. A lot of you guys on the call here have been taking part in my classes that we've been doing, and it's been a lot of fun. And we're hopefully going to do one, every other week or so. So thank you so much, and it's so good to see you all. And welcome, Jennifer and Minnie. I look forward to meeting you, sir. And have a great day. Thanks for your time.
And
Thank you, Joanne.
can I just do a plug-in for Joanne? So she hopped on one of my calls the other day and gave everybody who wanted access to purchase those REO leads, divorce leads, everything possible, bankruptcy. And they're literally, pennies to $1. So she has that toolbox through Orange Coast Title that you can sign up for and purchase amazing. They're really good quality leads, and the system, if you've purchased those leads once from her, their system will keep notifying you anytime something changes on those people's profiles, which is really exciting. So if their balance goes up or they take out another loan or whatever is going on, you can tell a lot by what's happening in a person's life from what's happening on their official record. So she has that. Get in contact with her if you want to try some of those kinds of leads out. And so thank you for that tool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. I really appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. This is the whole purpose. Right now, Unity is the most important aspect. Our affiliates is an important factor right now. Utilize the tools that they have, get into their Zoom training classes, and take advantage, guys, right now more so than ever. So thank you, Joanne. Thank you, Sonia, for chiming in on that. So let's go ahead and continue. So we have Ray from the Elite Group. I know that Ray, we were talking. Is Ray on the call? Where's Ray?
I am right here, Simon. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so talk to us. Inspection policies and precautions. What are you guys doing, and what are you doing for safety factors to help our agents promote their business and still continue with the process of closing the deals?
Thank you, Simon. First of all, I'd like to welcome Manny and Jennifer to this market center. I actually work with Calabasas, Beach Cities, Coastal. I work with all of their market centers already. They're amazing leaders, highly reputable individuals, and can't wait to see where this is going to go. But as for us, we are operating in these times. I spoke to Simon about this the other day. We're InterNACHI certified, and InterNACHI set up a COVID-19 program for us. So it was a 6-hour course. All of our inspectors passed it with an average of 100%. And in all honesty, it's really just common sense stuff. Wear gloves, wear a mask, use hand sanitizers, don't shake hands, practice physical distancing, stuff of that nature. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we are wearing protective personal equipment. So this is automatically going to include gloves and a mask. 100%, my inspector should be wearing gloves and a mask. This may also include protective clothing and protective eyewear. Most of the time, it's going to also include protective eyewear. Okay, we don't recommend the buyer's there for the full duration of the inspection, if not at all. We can coordinate a time for them to show up around 10 to 15 minutes before the completion of the inspection, still go over the defects with them in person while practicing physical distancing. We won't be able to supply them masks or gloves. I've been getting that question a lot. And not that I don't want to give your clients masks or gloves. It would be a nice touch from us. We just don't have the availability right now. So sorry about that, guys. But we can coordinate a time for them to show up. But what's been the most popular, of course, has been Zoom meetings like we're doing right now. We'll get on a Zoom meeting with the clients, the agent. We'll go over the defects, make sure the client's comfortable. We've also been doing FaceTimes at the end of the inspection. So reach out to the agent or the client, go over the inspection with them over a FaceTime call. That's been very popular with us lately. And just basically protecting your clients. And I don't know if you want me to touch on the PEAD real quick, Simon?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I do realize you guys have that PEAD, and it's pretty much mandatory. And I do also realize you guys have a COVID-19 waiver through KW. We do sign both of those. We put the proper inspector on those. We do sign them. We get them back over to you guys. I do recommend getting those over to us 48 hours before the inspection, or at least 24, so I could get them to you in time before our inspector steps foot on the property. Just a little note here. I've been doing KW Zoom meetings like crazy. Okay, I mean, I'm hopping off this one and I got to do Brentwood's. But basically what I'm hearing from every broker, if you have an electrician go out there, if you have a plumber go out there, if you have us go out there, and we need to do a reinspection, or the plumber needs to come back to do some other work because he didn't have the proper material, every broker I've spoken to recommends you fill out that PEAD again and you have them sign it again. Just to err on the side of caution. I don't think it's mandatory, but you want to protect yourselves and you want to protect your clients. So that's just a great little tip for you guys. We are operating. Do you want me to throw out some numbers from this week, Simon, or over the past week? The state of the market.
Give us some numbers of what you're seeing out there, please.
Okay, so when the order first came down, we did 483 inspections that week. Okay, the week after that, we did 332 or 331. I forget the exact number. The week after that, we did 227. Last week, we did 217. We're already up to around 230 something this week. So we felt like we hit our bottom last week, and the market's kind of stabilizing, and it's going to go up from here. I spoke to Simon about this. I have a client in the Pasadena area. She went into escrow 6 times last week. 6 times. Granted, she's a top producer. She has a full team underneath her belt. But what she's telling me is she's entering the offers, and instead of facing a lot of competition, like 10, 15, competing with 10, 15 other offers, she was competing with 3 offers on an Eagle Rock property a few days ago. So what you guys got to realize, not every brokerage is operational right now. And if you guys are, take advantage of it, okay? Honestly, guys, because there's a lot of agents out there that are going to suffer when this thing's over. If you take advantage of the climate right now or of the situation right now, these clients are going to look forward to talking to you when this stuff ends.
Beautiful. Well, there you go, guys. We got Ray from Elite Home Inspections, so they're actively still working and using social distance and proactively, using every necessary measures to protect everyone on the transaction. So, Ray, thank you so much for being on this call. Appreciate you. And can't wait to see you back at our regular sales meetings,
I can't wait either. I can't wait to meet everyone on this call again. God bless everyone. I love everyone on this call. You guys know I'm always here for you. Thank you very much, guys.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. Be safe out there.
You too.
All right. All right, guys. So now to the really the heavy lifting, what I call is, I've had the opportunity to work with our legal counsel. And, throughout this COVID-19 situation that has really changed the parameter and how we do business. I know they've been on the forefront of all communications amongst myself, our broker, Kim, and our agents as well. So it seems like one day the conversation is this we can do, this is what we cannot do. Then the following day totally changes the parameter of those conversations. And now we're applying the brakes, and now it's like we're backtracking and having these conversations with our agents, and it's been a roller coaster ride, guys. Believe me, it's been interesting to have these conversations with our team, our staff, and more so with our attorneys involved. So I want to introduce with BRLG, which is our legal department, Mr. Martin Mead. So welcome.
Good morning. Here. Let me jump on in with a share screen to get us going. Figured a PowerPoint would be the easiest way for us visual learners to be able to follow along. Yes, it has been a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster that changes from day to day, from week to week. If we had been on this call a week ago, we would have been talking about the big divergence between City of LA and the surrounding communities in Los Angeles counties. Some big developments happened over the weekend that have merged the two systems to rules that are somewhat similar. So we're going to go over what those rules are. One of which takes effect tonight at midnight. So we're going to get ahead of those and then think through how the rules apply going forward and some things to have in mind when you're structuring transactions that are coming together so that you are navigating around the showing restrictions and appointment restrictions that are contained in the rules. So Let's jump into the big new change in both the LA City and LA County orders. So when I say LA County, from where you all are standing today, Torrance, Carson, Redondo, Hermosa, all elected not to roll out any city-specific health ordinance, but to say we will follow whatever County of LA applies. City of LA about 10 days ago went with a more restrictive format. In the new orders that were rolled out over the course of the last few days, they have now merged. And here is the central language that we all need to zero in on, which is vacant units and real property may be shown, provided that appointments and other residential viewings must only occur virtually, or if a virtual viewing is not feasible, by appointment with no more than 2 visitors at a time residing within the same household or living unit and 1 individual showing the unit, except that, and this is huge, in-person visits are not allowed when the occupant is still residing in the residence. So we'll focus on that last bullet first. We're going to come back to it. But if you've got a seller residing in the residence, if you've got a tenant residing in the residence, you're going to have real restrictions on not just having viewings, but on any appointment during the duration of the order, which runs through May 15th. So you're going to want to have that in mind. But let's talk about vacant units first. So units where the seller has moved out and you're wondering, can I begin to bring buyers in for showings? Well, the first cut of that is you cannot have an open house. That's probably very intuitive to us after living within variations of these rules for the last few weeks. But the rule contains a multi-stage, multi-step process that you got to try to find a virtual solution first. And then, even for vacant properties, only if a virtual viewing is not feasible can you move to the in-person appointment stage of the game. So the question that immediately arises is, what do we mean by feasible? And it's a big question. I'll give you a little bit of background here. LA County and LA City lifted this language verbatim from orders that were in effect in the counties that ringed the Bay Area. And those orders took effect back on March 31st. So we saw the same language in effect for the last 2 weeks, but even around the Bay Area, we've seen county to county, jurisdiction to jurisdiction approaches to the word feasible that are either more restrictive or less restrictive. So let's look at Merriam-Webster's dictionary. One definition of feasible is the same as possible. So in other words, we don't get to a virtual viewing unless we can show that the, or we don't get to a live viewing unless we can show that the virtual viewing is impossible. Going down to the bottom of the screen here, the other definition that many of us who have worked in business and are familiar with feasibility studies is usually not just about the possible, but what's the practical, where you do some sort of cost-benefit analysis as to trying to take reasonable steps to achieve the goal. So I set the stage here by saying we've got a brand new rule and we don't have any FAQ. So usually what happens when a county rolls out a new rule is you got the rule, and if something's ambiguous, within a matter of days, you see frequently asked questions go up on the city or county website that explain the gaps. We don't have that for City of LA or for LA County yet. So in the Bay Area, we've got some counties taking the position that it really is a standard of impossibility, that the only way you can get a live showing, even of a vacant property, is by showing that that it's impossible to have the virtual showing. Others, Alameda County is the big one, in the county where Oakland is located, have followed the reasonable approach, where the agent needs to show that steps have been taken to minimize the likelihood of in-person events, to try to move everything as virtually as possible. And that's going to be sort of the minimum. So as we're figuring out how to achieve good faith compliance with both the city and county orders that have just taken effect, we're going to want to make sure that even for our vacant properties, that we're trying to get as few buyers through the gates as possible. So having checkpoints along the way where you are accomplishing buyer qualification and winnowing and buyer education virtually. So here are some suggestions. The obvious is the more you can have quality virtual showing materials, photographs, videotapes, live narrated recordings by the agent, narrated open houses, narrated individual showings, the better off you're going to be, or you will be able to make the case much better that you really paid heed to the orders requirement that you try to exhaust all virtual resources first. Some other suggestions that aren't just a virtual tour: move the disclosure process up to the front of the queue. So if your seller has completed a TDS and SBQ, you've completed your AVID, have those ready and available for all interested buyers who are wanting to have an in-person showing. And again, we're talking vacant property here. Provide them to the buyer, get them signed off on before the in-person showing is set up. Another idea is for the seller to have an inspection report commissioned beforehand. So the buyer has a true appreciation of what they're going to be viewing when they do get that viewing. And perhaps you might even ask for buyers to submit their pre-qual letters, their proof of funds, before you get that live in-person appointment set at the vacant property. Now, I started with virtual tours, and there's been, in all of these public health orders, there's been a migration towards virtual tours, and I think it's probably going to outlast the crisis, that we're going to see a lot of this technology well beyond where it's absolutely essential. A word of caution here. We're counsel to 20 plus Keller Williams offices, and we see sort of from the big picture trends over time. Even before the pandemic crisis, one of the unique categories of lawsuit that seemed to be blossoming over the last 2 years that we saw stemmed from agent errors in MLS setups. So the agent, either because the seller fed them the information wrong, or there was a keystroke error, or something went amiss, so that the MLS profile went live with an error in it. And later on, the buyer brought in inspectors, and the inspectors generated reports, and maybe those reports corrected the error or showed the true condition of the property. But later, when there was a problem, the buyer shows up with a claim or a lawsuit, waiving the tangible representation by the agent, saying, I relied on this, I wouldn't have gotten into the transaction without this. And those become very difficult lawsuits to easily make go away, because the tangible recorded statements have a life of their own, even when you have a later inspection report that might correct it. So if you are conducting an open house or a virtual tour, be darn sure that you are, you're going to do this anyway, right? You're going to be scrupulously accurate anyway, but be attentive that recordings live beyond the moment where the person is observing the recording, so that if you were to misspeak during the virtual tour, don't just let it sort of linger there. Think through how you're going to correct it with the buyer who eventually gets into escrow. The cleanest way to achieve that correction would be through your AVID, your agent visual inspection disclosure. When you reach your other comments at page 3, address the issue head on. During a virtual tour on March 16th or April 16th, the virtual tour noted X, that was incorrect. The true condition of the property is Y. Okay, I mentioned that there are new requirements that take effect at midnight today under both the LA City and county orders, and that is a protocol requirement. So for everyone who is going to be attending one of these in-person appointments at a vacant property, there has to be a record of them being given the directions for social distancing and appropriate sanitary practices. First, we heard earlier in the call today, the PEAD is your tool of the moment. Before anyone can be offered a chance to attend an in-person appointment, the PEAD needs to be executed. I agree with Guy's recommendation to get it done well in advance, to get it uploaded to SkySloper Command as quickly as you get it back, so that you know that it was completed by all the parties, including any agent who is going to be involved in the visit, before people start actually showing up. There we go. That was the next screen. And for those of you who, hopefully we all are familiar with the PEAD already, but this is it. It's in zip form. You can load it to your transactions straight from zip form. In addition, the city and county orders now require you to post at the entrance a short form version of the protocols to be followed. So here on your screen is the big type version that we have prepared for you. We've asked Simon and Kim to share this with you guys after the team meeting today. But a poster that goes right up front at the entrance, reminding people of the rules they already confirmed by executing the PEAD. Note bullet number 1, wear a protective face mask. In LA County and LA City, you now are required to ensure that nobody goes into the property without wearing a face mask. Countywide, the rules are we're not supposed to leave our homes without a face mask. But for you as the person, as the listing agent or the buyer's agent who are monitoring compliance with the rules, you expect everyone to don those face masks before entering the property. Okay. Okay, next up, what about the seller or tenant residing on premises? I began our discussion by noting that final parenthetical bullet point in both of the new rules, that appointments and other viewings are only allowed if the house is vacant. If the house is occupied, there is no allowance for showings or for other in-person appointments until the order is lifted. So until after May 15th. A very huge restriction that we're all going to have to wrap our heads around navigating, because it's not just the interested buyer who would, in a perfect non-COVID world, like to be able to have a showing before submitting an offer, but even post-offer, the appointments that would typically occur, such as a buyer inspection, buyer attendance at an inspection, a buyer final walkthrough, and even the agent's avid inspection. There's no clear carve out for any of those events to occur in person. So what do? We've got a listing that just went live last week. We've got buyers lined up to requesting showings, but now because the seller is residing on the premises, we can't conduct an actual showing. Are we completely, are our hands tied completely behind our back with no activity? The answer is no. You still are allowed to show the property to the buyer virtually. Unfortunately, the way this rule is written, and without any FAQs to provide guidance, even a virtual tour, if the seller is residing, means the seller or other occupant of the property is holding the camera, and you, the real estate associate, are back in your home office doing the narration. So the showing is seller on premises, you at your office, and buyer at their home, all linked in together with you performing the narration, or you performing the larger open house narration. But could a buyer who is interested in the property based on the virtual tour submit an offer, actual sight unseen? The answer is yes, but that's very, very high risk to both buyer and seller. For the buyer, they're relying on trusting that the video visual matches the in-person visual, and there's some likelihood that there's always room for the buyer to claim they don't match. For the seller, because there's room for the buyer to make that claim, there's risk as well. The whole concept of buyer investigations and inspections is largely driven by protection of seller from litigation risk later on, from the unhappy buyer who says, if I had known this about the property, I would have never bought it. So when we're discussing this concept for interested buyers who wish to submit offers on a party where the seller is living on the premises, is residing on the premises, we can open escrow, but the best practice and the recommendation to both buyer and seller is to have a buyer investigation contingency that runs until after the public health order has been lifted, and then with a close of escrow at some point thereafter. We're going to be distributing to you guys later today both templated letters or templated emails that you can use to render your advice to your buyer and your seller. Here's some sample language that accomplishes what I was just describing. So buyer has until the day after the lifting of all coronavirus public health orders to complete the 14B buyer investigation items, with close of escrow occurring at some point thereafter. So in my example, it's 1 day after for the end of inspections and 5 days after for close of escrow. Suggestions of ways that you can at least make the transaction move forward during the period where in-person appointments are not allowed. Bookmark here, bookmark and prediction. The Bay Area counties, as I mentioned before, had this exact same rule in effect for the last 2 weeks. And we are, as we're sitting here right now, we're hearing word from various county attorneys' office around the Bay that they're likely to be lifting or releasing FAQs that allow for limited access for things like inspections, even where the seller resides on premises. But the plain language of the order says we can't do that. So as we sit here today with these new orders in their infancy, the cautious, safe, risk-averse approach to take is to, if your seller is residing on the premises, is to try to structure the in-person appointments to a point after the lifting of the public health order. And again, both of the LA orders run through May 15th. The stakes here, we've shared this in our emails to you, but want to make sure we understand. There are a couple things that can go wrong. The first is you set up a showing and somebody reports you, and the sheriff or local police department show up, and you get hit with a fine, or you get, in extreme cases for repeat violators, we're hearing of threats of imprisonment. None of our local jurisdictions are going there yet. But one of the longer term lingering downsides to us is the idea that your E&O and general liability insurance policies will invariably have carve-outs that say, where the carriers say, we will not insure willful violation of the law by the insured, so by the real estate associate. So that if you facilitate the violation of a public health order and there's later a problem and a claim and a lawsuit, one of the bad things that could flow from that is that you're on your own without insurance coverage. So you're paying for your own defense and you're paying for the resolution of any claim as well. I'm speaking really quickly because I know I don't want to eat up all beyond the time Simon has for me. But a couple more things.
Yeah, Martin, no, don't worry about it. I mean, this is information that we all need to know, the pros and cons to it. So no, by all means, you're fine. So thank you.
So next up, the rules have changed on us, and many of us have listings in place already. So some of us may be going out to take listings in the next few days, but we may have listings in place already. What do we do to confirm that we have a shared understanding with our seller regarding both what seller is comfortable with in terms of people coming in and out of their property and compliance with the public health orders as changed? So the RLA CAA was rolled out by CAR. Here it is, a little bit over a week ago. And it's a tool both for, it's designed both to be attached to a listing at the time the listing agreement is signed, but also anytime you need a modification driven by the public health orders. So you'll see, if you haven't gotten familiar with the form yet, under item 2 on our screen here, the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H boxes, this allows you to have a meeting of the minds with the seller regarding what will and will not occur during the pendency of the public health orders. So if you've got a seller who is residing on premises, you may have a number of changed rules that would make going back to the seller, having a teleconference to talk about the new rules, and then getting a revision to the listing agreement in the form of a new RLA CAA signed. There's page 2 at the end of your teleconference. Lastly, there are, hopefully you all have discovered the carcovidupdates.org page, the CAR dedicated page to COVID crisis related resources. I encourage you to go there regularly. That's where CAR bullets new tools and new ideas that are being rolled out as they're rolling them out. All right, so that is the end of my screen share. I'm gonna drop it down, and I suspected we have a whole lot.
We have several questions. I'm not sure, Martin, if you can see these questions on your screen.
I can. So if I don't get to your question, you absolutely can call or email us just as you always do, brlg@brlg.law or 323-213-9792, our hotline, to talk through any questions that I don't answer in real time here or any more complex questions. So I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions here. So maybe what we can do is I can.
So you know, inspections and appraisals are. So on the one hand, we've got this language that says if the seller is residing on the premises, the real estate agent can't schedule real estate viewings and other appointments while the seller is residing on the premises. On the other hand, the public health orders contain carve-outs for banks as essential businesses and carve-outs that allow the seller to schedule appointments with service providers that will improve, that go to the health, sanitation, or operability of the property. So they list plumbers, electricians, exterminators, and other providers. Now, an inspector is what, if not a comprehensive roadmap of health and sanitation issues at the property. So probably inspections will continue to fall within a permitted
California.
A permitted activity.
Attorney, I was just texting back and forth with my bookkeeper there. I think this is
Sorry.
So
sorry about that, Martin.
yeah. So, and in fact, one of the Bay Area counties just released a detailed FAQ where they said we will allow the inspection as long as it's the seller who's ordering the inspection. There's no buyer right to attend at the end of the inspection. We don't have that sort of guidance yet in LA County, but the idea is there's probably going to be, even for your transactions that have the seller residing on premises, and particularly if the seller orders the inspection themselves, room to have those appointments. And appraisals, again, there's a separate banking carve out as an essential business that does not have these in-person versus not in-person versus seller residing restrictions that are targeted at real estate transactions. So we suspect that appraisals will be able to be conducted, but we'll all be watching the FAQs in the coming days to see how the city and more importantly for you guys, the county,
Los Angeles
interpretation. Yeah, Los Angeles
right.
County, which is
right.
all of your local cities.
Simon, can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to confuse you even more.
Right.
But no, because I'm involved in various boards. I just want to show you something that just was shared with us. That it's the new Safer at Home for PWR. So I'm not sure. Do you guys have listings in Long Beach, Simon?
Well, we also are a member of Pacific West Association of Realtors, Manny. So yes, we do have listings in the city of Long Beach.
So they just released basically their order start effective today until May 15, and I'm going to send it to you. They're saying, yes, you can also do showings to properties that people live in the properties, but here's the sellers or tenants should temporarily leave the unit during the physical showing and should maintain distancing protocols.
Right.
So it's the same order, but so in Long Beach specifically, as of this morning, thanks to PWR, you can do it. You just have to follow the rules, and
Right.
who knows, which board is going to follow that. But once again, it's there's a lot of information, so please pay attention to where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Martin.
It is so confusing for all of us. So one of the things that is happening with the Diligent Association of Realtors is they will typically try to open up a direct channel with the city attorney or the county attorney. And that's probably what happened with PWR, to say what or how is enforcement going to occur in Long Beach. And they heard from the horse's mouth, this is how the city of Long Beach is planning to enforce. So you get the likely enforcement before it goes official via the FAQ or modification of order on the website. Till it's official, there's always the danger that you've got an Association of Realtor publication official who's being overzealous in their own interpretation. But they tend to be pretty accurate. So a good place. So if you are looking at the most current interpretations, checking the Association of Realtor resource for the community in which you are navigating is a great first step before circling back and looking at the FAQs. And again, you can reach out to us as well, and we will help you navigate the official rules that have been published by the city or the county that you're trying to navigate.
Beautiful. Martin, yeah, absolutely, guys. Remember what I said earlier. It's like a roller coaster ride. 1 minute is this, tomorrow it may be totally different. So thank you, Manny, for providing the updated information. And this is just strictly, guys, just strictly Long Beach, okay? So it makes perfect sense of what City of Long Beach is indicating. As long as the seller is aware, vacates the property, allows the buyer to go in there and do the showing, that's perfectly legal right now. But that can change tomorrow. So just, stay tuned. Check websites, city websites, check the local boards. We are part of, I believe, 3 or 4 different associations. We belong to PWR, South Bay Association of Realtors, PV Board, and I believe we also belong to CLAW, which is the Los Angeles Association of Realtors. And I'm not sure if we still belong to the Inglewood Association of Realtors too. Everyone has their own interpretations and their own language because they're, very diligent in the cities that they are in. So again, utilize all the necessary tools to help you educate your clients, but more so the protection for everyone. So thank you, Manny, for providing that. Martin, thank you.
Simon?
Yes.
I'm sorry, real quick, sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, Simon, I was, about to say the same thing. Basically, before going out, agents should check the local rules as they are changing every day. And that was a perfect example where Minnie just brought that up and showed how Long Beach had something different. So as realtors, right, we want to do the right thing. We want to abide by all the rules. And so before going out, I think you should.
I know, right? So I called Erin because they made several attempts to drop off the package.
Oh, sorry.
But I guess,
if I can have you guys mute, please. Kim, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Nat?
The Horton location.
Sorry about that. Kim, let me put you.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm done. Just wanted to add that in for everyone you should double check before going out as rules are changing every day. Okay.
So, and again, I noticed when Manny was sharing the Long Beach Association of Realtors, there was some really good, it sort of amplified what we talked about in my sort of speed rattling off of best practices, which is even if you've got a vacant property, you should be doing heightened buyer qualification before you, like the practice that is probably going to get you into trouble is just having a lockbox with people going in and out of the property without monitoring. Because that's the sort of thing where you could get reported by someone who doesn't like you, someone who, a fellow realtor who believes that you're violating the letter and spirit of the order. But those were really good suggestions of only having real buyers have the in-person appointment, even where it's a vacant property, where it's clear that there's not going to be a violation just for showings.
Beautiful. Well, Martin, I definitely appreciate you being on this call. Value information, obviously, somewhat confusing, but this is where, we are the professionals, guys, and we need to educate our clients. So again, Martin, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys have the legal department's phone number, email. They're going to be providing us with the information, as Martin said, and we will definitely pass it on back to you. So that way, you guys are on the forefront of all the updates that's going on. So again, Martin, thank you again for being on this call. Really appreciate it. So, just a final thought. It's 1 o'clock. So it went super quick for me. Even though we're dealing with this economic situation worldwide, we still need to continue moving forward, guys. Even though the circumstances that we're currently at, my view of it is, being proactive, not to panic about the situation, but ultimately adapt to the situation. The people that adapt to the situation will overcome these obstacles and challenges. No difference than a real estate transaction. When you're involved in a real estate transactions, none of your transactions usually go smooth. Maybe 1 or 2% of them go super smooth, but then there's always going to be obstacles and challenges. This is just one obstacle that we're dealing with. We will overcome this, and we will succeed. The agents that will succeed are the ones that, look at it, analyze the situation, and overcome the problem by thinking, utilizing the mindset to see the bigger picture. I wrote a couple of stuff as we were going is, again, not to panic about the outcome. Take every necessary measures of safety. Utilize the tools that we have. KW, my gosh. I am so taken back. In the 2 years that I left KW and came back, I was like taken back of everything that KW has to provide, guys. Everything from command, everything. When I was at Family Reunion, I was like just taken back of what we have to provide. This is the time, guys. You have the time to sit down, go through the motions. We have phenomenal staff here that is on your side. Sonia is a prime example with her daily trainings to help you jump on board to, all the systems. I was on a call with Sonia yesterday on creating landing pages, and it was like so streamlined in how we can create avenues of our business and how we should be aligning ourselves for the future. Because believe me, this is a prime example of what I'm seeing of the technology aspect of where we're going with this is all going to be streamlined through online platforms and virtual tours via Zoom conference calls. I mean, I think all of us are taken back of, having our sales meetings now via Zoom, which is phenomenal because it really makes you think outside the box. Now, how are we going to have these conversations with your buyers, your sellers? There you go. Let's go on a Zoom call real quick and let's adapt to the changes and let's be proactive. You got the necessary tools in front of you guys to really help you boost your business. Look at this as an avenue of opportunity and not an opportunity to whine and complain. Oh, this and this and that. No, guys. This is
Simon?
Yes.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. Adaption is the key phrase. It's our word. It's definitely our word going forward. And there's business being done. That's what I want to leave you with. I have to jump up, but I want to say this. There's business being done. There's going to continue to be business being done. We have the systems. We have the support. We have the staff. We have everything it takes. I'd like business to be done by us. It's going to be done by somebody. Let it be us.
Right.
Have a
Awesome.
great day, guys.
Thank you, Erica. All right, guys, and that concludes our sales meeting. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Tomorrow, I will be doing a training at 10 o'clock to really navigate the process on, other contracts. Love to see you guys on that call tomorrow, or excuse me, I apologize, not tomorrow. I think it's Friday at 10 o'clock. So with that being said, stay active, stay healthy, and we're here for you as a support factor. Okay, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys soon. We'll have our next sales meeting next Wednesday, 12 o'clock. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Good job, Simon.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you.